Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how I set up my sewing box and hopefully offer some tips and tricks for you as well, and also solve a problem that I've been having with my sewing box. Now this is a sewing box my sister got me for Christmas a few years ago, and I just love it. It sits on my bookshelf in my living room, and I use it a couple times a week because the kids will have a rip in their coat or their ski pants, or there'll be a wardrobe malfunction right before someone goes out the door, or they need some badges sewn on their uniforms at the last minute for scouting. So I'm going to show you what I have in here, and I try to keep it pretty neat and organized so that I don't run into problems when I go to use it. So one thing I did, I replaced, because this did come filled with sewing supplies, I did replace the scissors that came in there with a nice pair of sharp embroidery shears. These are by Allery and they're not very expensive, probably about $2, between $2 and $5. And some pins for when you want to pin like a badge, merit badge down to a vest or a shirt before you sew it on. These are really helpful, and I like the little pinwheel thing that these come on, and this is a pretty standard item in a sewing kit, but it does keep the pins secure so they don't fall out. I'm not worried about them so much falling out in my box, but I don't want them falling out on the couch or on the floor where somebody could step on them. Now here's something that I do have a problem with. These are always spilling my contents, even when I have it turned around so the slot is not lined up with one of these channels, but the stuff's always spilling out, or they're getting, or the needles are going sideways and getting tangled up in here. So my quick tip for this is that I found this mini Altoids mince container, and I cut a piece of magnetic sheeting, and this is just a little scrap left over from how I store my dies, and then I'm able just to, I cut it to fit to the bottom of there and just glued it in place, and then I could put my pins down, my needles down here, and look, they're not going to fall out. So I am replacing these. I had another disc that I just replaced, but I'm going to put all my pins in there so that they'll take up less space in here, and also they will they'll be less likely to spill out, because when I was reorganizing my box the other day, these kept falling out, and it was so frustrating, and I was so afraid that I was going to miss one and somebody in my family would get poked with a stray needle. As you can see, some has spilled out, so I'm just going to put those right in there. And I mean, they were all, I'd gone through, found all the needles, put them in here, and still they spilled. Your kit should also have a seam ripper here, and what you want to do is you have this ball, and that keeps your fabric from, this keeps it from hitting the fabric. What you do is you go underneath your stitch that you want to remove, and then you run it across, and there's a little sharp blade in there that will clip all the stitches so that you can easily remove a bad stitched area. These things here I love. I am really bad at threading needles, and so what you do is you put this through a needle. These are threaders, and they do not last forever. You will need to replace them, but what you do, and I'll just show you here on a needle, hopefully you can see that, it's going to be hard to focus, but you put the metal, you put this wire through the eye of the needle, right? Then you put your string through the big loop there, and then when you pull it back through, you've got your threaded needle. So it really makes it easy, and I have a hard time threading needles, especially in my living room where the light's not so great and I need to thread them really quickly. So so I love to have a bunch of these, and they're not very expensive to replace. And a couple thimbles. These are really handy if you're going through like ski pants or something it's really thick, or jeans, and you just put it on your finger and protects your finger as you're stitching. And then I've got a bunch of small little little spools of thread, and if you get a bunch tangled together, I would honestly toss them. You can get like the 12-pack of these multicolored spools very inexpensively at the dollar store, or even at your department store in the sewing section. Once it starts to get down, I usually just toss it if I have a color to replace it. Because whenever you can buy those little sewing kits, sometimes you get them free in hotel rooms, and then you can replenish all of this stuff. And then of course a measuring tape, so you can measure something if you need to. I usually don't need that when I'm just mending. That would be more if I was sewing a garment or something, and this is pretty much just used for my mending. So then everything will fit in here nice and neat, and because I'm going to put all my needles in the Altoids tin, I won't have to worry about things spilling out. And I put the cover right on top, and I'm not sure where my sister got this box for. It's a Singer sewing box. You could probably find them on eBay. I'm pretty sure she got it out like Home Shopping Network or something, but I really like it, and I've been using it on almost a daily basis since she gave it to me. So there's my quick tip for keeping your needles stored safely, and also on what you should have in your sewing and mending kit. Hope you found it helpful. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you did. Tell your friends, and until next time, happy crafting.